Hey everyone, and welcome to Boss Advisory. Today we're going to talk about 12 bad behaviors for your brain. We don't often consider the health of our brains in the same way that we consider the health of our bodies. The brain, which is in charge of all physical activities, sometimes goes unnoticed in favor of other body organs. Look at some of these routines that are seriously harming your brain. Number 1. Consuming too much sugar. Add brain damage to the conditions like type 2 diabetes, dental cavities, and obesity that we already associated with consuming a lot of sugar. Therefore, you might be wondering how eating too much sugar affects your brain. The body's capacity to absorb proteins and nutrients is interfered with when sugar is consumed in large quantities over an extended period of time. Malnutrition could result to this, which hinders brain growth. This occurs because the body cannot supply adequate nutrients to the brain because there are not enough nutrients in the bloodstream, which inhibits the brain's ability to grow and develop. Too much sugar consumption might impair your memory and cognitive function. So it would be far better for both your brain and your waistline to stick to alternatives like antioxidant-rich sweets like dark chocolate and raspberries. Number 2. Not getting adequate rest. For many busy professionals, getting little sleep is a major issue. Lack of sleep can lead to a variety of problems, including excessive daytime sleepiness, depression, and reduced performance. According to recent research, getting insufficient sleep can really make your brain smaller. The area of the brain that suffers when you don't get enough sleep is the hippocampus. The brain's capacity to remember new knowledge can be hampered by even one night of insufficient sleep. Numerous studies have demonstrated that the brain only purges poisons during sleep. Lack of sleep can also result in brain cell death, which slows down thinking, impedes learning, and affects memory, focus, judgment, and decision-making. Number 3. Playing loud music with earphones or headphones. People have a natural tendency to increase their loudness. It enhances the enjoyment and immersive quality of the music. You should stop using earphones or headphones if you frequently listen to music at a loud volume because it can harm your ears. But your ears aren't the only ones who suffer. Age-related hearing loss is linked to brain issues such as Alzheimer's diseases, loss of brain tissue. Your brain can memorize what you hear when it takes extra effort to understand what someone is saying. It is therefore a terrific approach to save your hearing and allow your brain to act to protect your hearing by changing the level of your earbuds. One test was proposed by headon.com. The digital headphone magazine suggests taking off your headphones, keeping them at your preferred volume, and holding them out in front of you at arm's length to make sure your volume is not excessively loud. Try turning it down and repeating the process if you can clearly hear the song. They added that in order to give your ears enough time to rest, you should try to take regular pauses throughout the day. Number 4. Skipping breakfast. A common reason why individuals skip breakfast is to save time or stick to a diet. Few individuals are aware that skipping breakfast might harm your brain. After a restful night's sleep, the body needs sufficient calories, or skipping breakfast deprives the brain of these crucial nutrients. A 15-year Japanese study with nearly 80,000 participants revealed that participants who regularly miss breakfast have a higher risk of developing high blood pressure and a stroke. Another study demonstrates that kids who regularly eat breakfast outperform kids who don't in the classroom. The blood glucose levels falls when breakfast is skipped, which has a negative impact on how the brain functions. So make sure to eat something in the morning before leaving your house. Number 5. Eating too much food. Enjoying too much raises our risk of gaining weight, feeling bloated, and developing life-threatening conditions. You might not know it, but it can also seriously harm your brain, which is another fact. A sustained high-calorie diet has been linked to an increased risk of memory loss or moderate cognitive impairment or MCI in later life, according to studies. In a 2012 study that was reported in the Journal of Neurology, 6,000 individuals with an average age of 50 were looked at. When the same subject were re-evaluated 10 years later, those who are overweight had a 22% greater decline in their cognitive abilities than those who are smaller. Number 6. Sleeping with your head under the cover. For a brain to operate normally, oxygen is crucial. Your brain performs worse the less air you breathe in. When you sleep with a blanket or comforter over your head, you can create an environment where your oxygen intake is less than 20.95%. When you tuck yourself between the covers, it is warm and comfortable. Does it assist in reducing the grating impacts of excessive brighter sound in the morning? Of course it does, but because of the increased carbon dioxide consumption, you run a higher danger of harming your brain cells. Number 7. Multitasking. It's likely that you've heard that multitasking hinders productivity. It turns out that doing this also confuses your thoughts and decreases your productivity. According to Earl Miller, a neurologist at MIT and one of the world's foremost authorities on divided attention, our brains are not designed to multitask. People who believe that they are multitasking, however, are actually quickly switching between one activity and another. And every time they do so, they incur a cognitive penalty. The practice of multitasking also raises levels of the stress hormone cortisol and the hormones adrenaline and fight or flight, which can overstimulate the brain and result in confusion or mental haze. Researchers at Stanford University have found that compared to persons who focus on one activity at a time, those who are consistently exposed to several streams of digital information experience more severe difficulties with recalling information and paying attention. 8. Inadequate water intake. Water is essential to every biological function, including brain function, as the brain is about 70% water. You'll be able to think more quickly, stay focused, and enjoy more clarity and creativity when your brain is operating on a full supply of water. Water is necessary for both removing toxins from the body and supplying nutrients to the brain. Better attention and mental clarity are guaranteed when the brain is adequately hydrated, since the exchange of nutrients and toxins will be more effective. According to studies, even 2 hours of vigorous activity without water can result in a deterioration of cognitive function, demonstrating the nearly instantaneous impact that dehydration has on the brain. Dehydration, according to studies, has the greatest effect on cognitive abilities like coordination, concentration, and the ability to solve complicated problems. It's crucial to always stay hydrated since your brain needs enough water to function properly, helping you to think more quickly and concentrate better. Your body and brain both benefit from drinking water, which makes them able to work. Number 9. Smoking. The impact that engaging in this activity has on your brain is perhaps the worst. Smoking has numerous detrimental impacts on your brain in addition to lung and even heart issues. In specific regions of the brain that control balance, coordination, and both fine and gross motor skills, smoking harms cell membranes and neuronal survival. Additionally, it thins the cortex, which is where functions like language, memory, and perception are located. It can result in issues like dementia, Alzheimer's, and sometimes even death. Indirectly, excessive smoking induces neuroinflammation, which can result in multiple sclerosis, also known as MS, an inflammatory disease. Number 10. Consuming alcohol. For a healthy person, alcohol starts to have an impact on the brain the instant it enters the bloodstream. Alcohol is swiftly removed from the body by the liver. But when someone drinks too much, their liver cannot process the alcohol quickly enough, which results in the acute brain alterations that are commonly associated with being intoxicated. When drunk in greater quantities and for longer periods of time, alcohol leads to chemical abnormalities. Chronic alcohol use also causes a decrease in brain capacity. Men and women suffer from brain injury in slightly different ways. But both sexes see an increase in brain matter loss as they get older. Alcohol that is used in excess is defined as having more than 2 units per day for men and 1 unit per day for women. Number 11. Working when sick. Here's one if you ever need one to avoid going to work. When we're exhausted, we typically get sick. Working while ill will inevitably reduce your brain's productivity, which will only increase your stress. According to one study, people who had a cold reported feeling less awake, having a worse mood, and having slow thinking. They responded slowly, learned new knowledge more slowly, and took longer to complete tasks involving verbal reasoning and semantic processing, according to the result of a second series of tests. Working when ill just makes things worse because the body and brain are already working overtime to fight the virus. Therefore, unwind, take a rest, and improve. Number 12. Not exercising. Exercise immediately has an impact on the brain. Your heart rate rises, which increases the flow of oxygen to your brain. Additionally, it aids in the physical production of several hormones that all contribute to helping and creating an environment that is favorable for the development of brain cells. Exercise is also proven to promote mobility and flexibility as well as lower stress levels in your body. Your mobility and motor abilities start to deteriorate if you don't exercise enough. Exercise releases endorphins, which are pleasant hormones, and studies have shown that endorphins help keep us young. Overall, exercise not only benefits the brain but also your heart and lungs. You must learn to take care of yourself if you have an interest in the health of your brain or the caliber of your thinking in the present or the future. You can improve your memory, learning, mental toughness, and overall brain health by making a few small changes to the way you live your life. Thank you guys so much for watching Boss Advisory, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and hit the bell so you get notified on every new incredible content we make for you. Have a wonderful day, and see you on the next one.